Unlock the Keys, a powerful guide to Moorish identity, divine law, and self-mastery. Praised by sheiks and scholars alike, and Moors across the nation are calling it a must-read. Grab your signed copy now at morrisonamerica.com for just $23. Or get the paperback on Amazon, also $23. Prefer digital? The Kindle version is only $3.99.
Let's go ahead and get things started up today. Before I say anything else, just want to make sure everybody hit the like and share button. Everyone that's here, we have special guests here, Laphonso and LaKeisha Woods, also known as Ancient Portals, and this is going to be an incredible spiritual, metaphysical, historical discussion. And just want to say thank you both for coming on here, and please tell us some more about yourselves.
Oh, Ancient Portals.
Ancient Portals.
Yes. Thank you for having us,
Yeah.
and congratulations on all of your success with More Than America.
Yeah.
As for us, we've always had a love for science and history, ancient science and history.
Oh, hang on one second. Okay, I'm sorry, your audio went out, but it sounds like it's back now.
Oh,
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So we've always had a love for science and histories, and watch a lot of documentaries in the 2000s, Georgia Tsoukalos, and going all the way up to the 2020s where we watched Gaia and Forbidden Knowledge. So we enjoyed all of those and just was excited about all of the stuff that we've learned, and decided to start our own little company, Ancient Portals, in April of 2022. And so we've been online gathering our following and just sharing the information and knowledge that we found.
Yeah. Part of our process is we pretty much strive to collect information and basically try to connect the dots with the information and then just simply display it. The goal is to find as much displayable evidence as we can possibly find by collecting information from science and also from our most ancient ancestors, the words of that were left for us, and pretty much to try to bring all that together to try to find displayable evidence. In an effort to just to simply try to figure out who we are and what we are, and pretty much we kind of started the process, like she said. It's pretty much just a natural process. When we first met, we both noticed that we both had a love for Egyptian history, and we were, we would scramble around just trying to find any documentary because growing up, we never learned anything about about any type of world history growing up in the United States, and you really just don't have a ways of access to the knowledge. And ever since I was 8 years old, my two main goals when I was 8 years old is I wanted to find aliens, and I wanted to find Bigfoot. Those were my two goals at 8 years of age. and I pretty much I embrace mostly the scientific side of things, because what I noticed is in science you tend to get displayable answers for some things, but not a lot of things. And so I embraced that. And then as the years went on, I began to kind of, just on our own, just kind of dive into like any type of ancient knowledge that I could get my hands on. And then I eventually, once we met and got married, and we eventually kind of just dived a little deeper. We were trying to really push and find where can we find these answers? Where can we find stuff? And and it really kind of happened pretty much what was it, like 2000, or was
2000.
like 2019,
Yes.
when we first discovered this channel called the Gaia Network, which seemed
Oh,
to
like
have
frozen
like a
up.
collection of stuff.
Like frozen.
Oh, it froze.
Yeah, you're good now.
And,
Yeah, it froze
You
up
want
when
to
you
put
were
okay.
you said Gaia Network, and then it froze, but you're back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
once we kind of discovered the Gaia Network, what I was specifically kind of looking for, because we had decided that uh, in what was it, 2022, when we did the Dogon,
Yes.
when I was
Mhm.
because I was really fascinated with the Dogon tribe, uh, and and I was trying to find as much evidence as possible that I could collect about them. And so I was using the Gaia Network to try to research, and just to try to find as much information as I could. And then I eventually put out my first video, which was on all that ancient knowledge that the Dogon tribe possess, that no one can explain. And then we eventually kind of decided that we wanted to put together like a Facebook group, and also convert my Facebook page into a business page. And also we opened up an Ancient Portals Facebook page, and we began to just display what I could collect. And once we kind of got to that stage, um, we begin to we eventually kind of came across this new discovery, which happened which was announced in 2025, of the SAR radar scans, uh, of the underneath the Giza plateau.
If I could get you
And
to pause real quick before
okay,
we go into the radar scans, I just wanted to speak a little bit on what you've already said, but with just listening to you both, I definitely think that we both can relate to you as far as understanding like the version of history that we're given in schools. We're both from the United States of America, and the version of history that we're given in schools for the most part is boring and unremarkable. And I say this as somebody who's been a history buff for a while. I just looked into it, even though it was boring and unremarkable. And I say that because you mentioned something also, that you said that there's things that can't be explained. And so we have these anomalies that just show up in history, um these things that have like advanced, you know, architecture and all
mhm,
types of things that just don't make any sense given this unremarkable, boring version of history that we're all given. It's just given to everybody. Doesn't matter if you're in New Hampshire, California, Arkansas, whatever.
yeah,
We're all given that same history, right? So
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
yeah.
and it kind of, kind of turns you off. It's like, oh, there's nothing there. But then we have these things that are like temples and things that are found there that just make no sense, because it's like, hey, I thought we didn't know anything back then, right? We didn't know how to, build. We didn't have agriculture, none of that stuff. So what's this stuff over here? So yeah, definitely understand where you're coming from, and it's always amazing to meet other people that are thinking outside the box, and searching, researching, doing, looking with your own eye, with your eyes open, to see what you can find, instead of just accepting the narrative that we're all given. So that's always wonderful to come across people like with with that similar mindset. And I wanted to just say, for everybody that's tuning in tonight, we're not just asking or talking about what's been discovered, like what you're about to get into, speaking about the radar detections underneath the pyramids. We're also speaking about why it matters, why this is important, why this actually relates to all of us. Humanity, just across the board. Doesn't matter if you're in Russia, France, Egypt, right?
Hmm.
Connecticut. Doesn't matter where you're at. This impacts us all. And so yeah, this is great. And definitely I would love to hear more about the findings that you were speaking about that were announced last year. And I want to yield the floor back to you. Whether did you want me to bring any imagery or anything up on the screen?
Okay. Uh, Probably the first thing we probably want to start off talking about is our soaps.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
let's get that out the way.
Yeah. Let's, uh,
Yeah, so I've been creating soap since the 2017 and decided recently to, since we started Ancient Portals, to go into soaps that were specific to ancient civilizations as much as possible. So I create the essential oil soaps. They are melt and pour, so the soaps already come with a base of either clear glycerin vitamin E soaps or a white opaque shea butter soap. And I take those blocks, and they do not have scent or anything, and I reshape them. So I'm a handcrafted type soap maker. I reshape the soaps into ancient civilization shapes, and give them the essential oils that I feel are appropriate with them. So the first one is our green and black soap. That is actually our official Ancient Portal soap, since our logo is green and black. We went with that. And that is with the clear glycerin vitamin E soap base, so that we keep that black black, because if we were to use a white opaque soap, black would turn gray instead with white. So we went with the clear and then the green coloring on top. The black is actually a black powder, and that is activated charcoal. It's really good for the skin and moisturizing. It also has a great lathering to it. And then in the green, we have tea tree oil. So this is going to smell medicinal. So you would just use it for that purpose. So there's no florzy or anything type of smell with that. It is a medicine type smell with the tea tree oil, but it's good for the feet and other areas too. And then moving over, we have the Queen Nefertiti, and that soap is with brown coloring, and it is with a clear vitamin E base to it, so that the brown can come through. If it was with opaque white, then that soap would be tan color, very tan color. And the fragrance with that is a rich dark chocolate fragrance, so it will smell like chocolate. And then it has for its essential
Uh-oh.
oil
Like
cinnamon.
mm,
Yeah.
okay.
Moving over from there, we have the black jaguar head soap, and that is representing ancient Mesoamerica. So with the black jaguar soap, that has the activated charcoal in it, and that one has lavender essential oil. So and that's the most common essential oil I think most people know of, the lavender there. So it's a great combination together. Below that, another jaguar head soap that is in tan. Now, the black one is actually in the clear vitamin E, so that the black comes through instead of gray. And then the tan one is actually in the white opaque shea butter, and that's why now you have that pastel color tan. It actually was a red, orange, and yellow color combination, and it comes out tan in a white opaque soap. So we have that. That's a shea butter, and that one has the lemongrass essential oil to it, which is nice and powerful, and it just kind of like brightens you up. You're gonna wake up with that one. That's a good one for morning time, the lemongrass, because we all know the smell of lemon. And then the last one is the meditation soap. This is actually my top seller. And this one is with shea butter, opaque white soap. And this one has the lavender into it because the lavender has that calming effect to it that goes well with meditation. And then so you can find these soaps on Etsy. The Etsy store is ancientportalstore.etsy.com. And that just goes along with our whole ancient portals information, civilization, and theme.
Well, that's great. And just want to remind everyone that's watching, whether you're watching live or later on, we'll have all the links in the video description too.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. You know.
Yes, yes. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much. What we what I've pretty much done with ancient portals is I try to I open up my own various different topics. Like for instance, I have a topic that's opened up that I call where the ancient Egyptians in Americas in ancient time. And what I'm doing is I'm just collecting as much evidence as I can find, and then bringing it all together. And then once I kind of have enough collected of a way, then I kind of present it out. Like pretty much I just collect it, connect the dots with it, and then just simply try to just display it pretty much. And I have a subject that I call giants. Like pretty much what I do is I've gone across basically collecting as much of the what the ancients say about giants. Like I go to different cultures, and any information I find that I can collect, and I try to bring it all together just to see if there's some type of a connection that people are missing, between all these different ancient cultures that speak of giants. Like for instance, just in America, the natives, they have a lot of oral information about giants in our ancient past in the Americas, but we never learn anything about it. And in the United States alone, we have over 4,000 known giant burial mounds. And we also have old newspaper clippings that describe giant bones being found, right? And then suddenly the Smithsonian shows up and all the bones are gone. And what I found is across the entire planet, there's over 6,000 known giant burial mounds. Every single one of them are empty. There's nothing. There's nothing in there. Yeah. So, that's kind of it's kind of interesting. And we know that the most ancient, the oldest known writings ever found so far in human history are the ancient Sumerians, and they put together these stone tablets that pretty much, and the first thing that they speak about is they claim that this race of giant aliens came from another planet, and it came here. And
while you say that, I just wanted to share on the screen this image from Petra. I believe this is called the Citadel, and the just for people who've never been, who aren't familiar with it, that doorway that you see is, you humongous. Okay,
Yeah,
like if a
yeah,
regular
I've
person was
seen.
standing in
Yeah,
that doorway, you could like sit 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 people, on top of each other, standing on top of each other, and still probably wouldn't reach the ceiling. So yeah, just like if that sounds weird to anybody, we have these ancient structures, just like you were saying. I mean, within many of the mounds here throughout the Americas, we're in Ohio, several mounds in Ohio, they found
Hmm.
human skeletons that were, for humans that were much larger than us, at least 50
Right,
tall, and there's no explanation given for this stuff. So yeah, just
right.
wanted to add that to what you're saying.
Yeah, and to go back
yeah,
to
and
what you were saying about Egyptian, ancient Egypt, um, the correlation between Americans, um, we've noticed one thing that a lot of so-called African Americans, Black people, if they go and do a DNA test, a lot of them are related to Ramses the Third. A lot. And
Hmm.
did some digging like years ago because we went and did the DNA test, and my husband, it said the same thing for him. So that, and it is the numbers when you look into it, it's like over 50% of so-called African Americans have that lineage connected to
Beautiful.
wow,
her. And it's like, what?
Yes.
They online, the racist ones, they try to make fun of the fact that, African Americans are drawn to ancient Egypt for some reason.
Right.
It's like
Hmm.
it's in our DNA.
Right. It totally ignore it. Just totally
Yes,
ignores it. Hmm.
yes. And it's like they're like, you know, our history is supposed to only start with slavery, and colonization,
Hmm.
and that's where it starts, but we know that it's the more ancient and it goes back. And
Oh yeah.
I just want to say thank you again for doing that work, because it is so important for more and more of us to actually dig into this information, because it is a part of us.
Hmm.
yes, it is.
Yes. Thanks for
Yeah,
bringing that up.
Yeah.
so you had started to speak about the discovery or the findings that were shared last year, and I wanted to speak to you about that, to see like what do we actually know versus what is still just open to interpretation.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Now with the SAR radar scans, what happened is there was a scientist, Filippo Bionde, uh, and Armando Me, and Trevor Grassi. They formed. They were a part of this what's called the CAFRE project, and what they discovered, what they did is they used a SAR radar satellite, and they did a scan of the CAFRE pyramid, and from their own descriptions, they did not expect it to work when they tried it. In the first scan that they did, they actually, it kind of returned some deeper readings, results, and then they went back and they made some adjustments to the satellite, and then they rescanned, and that image that you had up previously, that was the actual results, that right there. Yeah. And uh, what you basically see is that they discovered massive uh, uh, pillars that ran about 1.2 miles deep underneath the Caffrey pyramid, and they also noticed that I believe it was eight. I believe it was eight for the Caffrey.
Hmm.
Was it eight? Yeah. They discovered eight massive pillars, and they found that they ran into four massive cube-shaped objects at 1.2 miles deep underground. In the cubicle, the cube-shaped objects descend above ground. That's at 1.2 miles deep underground. And that image that you're looking at is the actual SAR radar, what the SAR radar shows. And that next picture is a 3D model of what the radar returned. So that way it's easier for people to see and actually visually understand. Because if we just show the SAR radar scan, people are not going to know what they're looking at. And if you look all the way to the right, you can see like that one lone pillar that runs into a single cubicle shaped structure. That one is directly underneath the Sphinx. And then you see to the left of it, there are some other structures that they don't have any like a pyramid above them, but they've found these structures that are deep underground. And look at the size of those cube-shaped structures. Those are massive. They're nearly the same size as the pyramids above ground. And if you look to the left of those, you'll see two massive pillars that run from the Great Pyramid, but there's no cube-shaped structure that it runs into, which is kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. And then to the left of the Great Pyramid, you see the 8 massive columns that run into those 2 massive cube-shaped structures. And you can just clearly see, you just look at the pyramid above ground and look at those cube-shaped structures. That's, the size of those structures. And they're 1.2 miles deep underground. And then you have to the left, you have the Mancure pyramid, and that was found to have 4 massive pillars that seem to run into a single cube-shaped structure. I believe it was 2, but it looks like it's 1. Mm-hmm. But if you look at the size of that cube-shaped structure and then look at what's above ground compared mm-hmm. to that pyramid, it's actually bigger. So, keep that size difference in mind when I show you when we show the pictures of the pyramids. But yeah, it's.
If I can say one thing with this, just with what we're looking at on the screen, this reminds me of a battery, right? Because you've got like a structure, you've got something connecting it, and then you've got a coil around it, and you can actually do that with vegetables, like maybe a potato. You can wrap a copper coil around it, connecting it to a light bulb or something like that, and you can
Mm-hmm.
you can actually create a charge that can light up that light. So yeah, that's amazing. But just
That's interesting.
wanted to add that because
Yes.
it's crazy to see that. But yeah, the size, just taking into account like the actual dimension, the actual size is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's the SAR radar scan seems to show that each one of those pillars, they have like the spiral coils. I mean, that definitely, that could be, spot on right. It maybe is something to do with electricity, possibly. But the one interesting thing that the scientists have pretty much displayed is that when they actually did a what was it, like a 2-hour kind of like a documentary when they first announced the discovery, and they actually zoomed in on the SAR radar scan, and they kind of zoomed in on that area underneath the Great Pyramid, and you could see little like caverns, like just kind of running away from the spiral, which was kind of, I was like, wow. I mean, there's a lot more than what this shows. There was like multiple different caverns that seem to be running away from the spiral pillars as you go down, and it seemed to kind of run off into little, like almost like a cavern where people could just walk away from the pillars and into some like really small like open areas. and and that was really telling. I think what's actually going on here is we literally have a underground world that has been discovered. But the sad part is Egypt and pretty much the world, they're ignoring this information, and they seem to be doing whatever they can to keep it suppressed and hidden. The one thing I really like about the scientific process that Filippo Biondi has done is that he's completed the scientific evaluation process, which he went and he got 4 different independent satellite readings to confirm, and all 4 satellite readings returned the exact same information as the original scan, which it says beyond a reasonable doubt there's something there. But Egypt is pretty much doing whatever they can to prevent this information from really kind of taking off.
Yeah, that definitely sounds about right. Like, I was gonna ask if this was something that was independently financed because, like, the Egyptian antiquities, the institute, it's over, any excavations and things like that in Egypt. I wouldn't even imagine them allowing people to do this. It seems like they wouldn't even have allowed. But yeah, yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. Like, how was this put together? Was this something that was independently funded?
Yep, I got the names. Filippo Biondi released the names of the 4 different independent satellites. One is named Capella Space, and then another one is ICI, and then there's a one called Umbra, and then there was Cosmos Sky Med. And all 4 of those independent satellite, they all returned the same readings, and
One thing
which
too to ask, just for people that are watching. So when you're saying like the SAR radar, what does it do? Like it sees through the ground, and what does it pick up? Metal or stone? I mean,
yeah,
what what exactly like would we be seeing then on like going back to that radar photo? What does this mean?
yeah, I believe it uses like a vibration, and the vibrations are what returns uh, the 3D images that they get. Um, that's about as much as I know about that satellite itself. Is I know that it does use like vibrations, and the thought was that this technology would not be capable of penetrating the ground, and that's why they're getting a lot of blowback, because they actually kind of, with this scan, they prove that the SAR radar can penetrate the ground deep. And but what they had to do when they did the first scan, it didn't return as deep, but they had to make they figured out adjustments that needed to be made, and then that returned to deeper knowledge, and it was something that was previously unknown about the SAR radar's capability. So that's part of the reason that they're getting so much blowback, and it is not really being accepted. But I think it's more of a deeper thing. I think it's Egypt is trying to basically prevent us from getting to the truth, is what I believe. Which, I mean, this doesn't make any sense, because if you look at Egypt, when it comes to pyramid tourism, they pull in about $18 billion a year, just on pyramid tourism alone. Now, if it was discovered that, there's massive structures underneath, why wouldn't they ride that? Why wouldn't they embrace that and just simply, allow the scientific process to take place and allow digging? That's the part right there. It's like, because these scientists, they did it without Egypt's permission, because they have a satellite, in outer space. So, there's no need to ask for permission. And if they would have asked Egypt for permission, they would have said no. So, so what they did is they went ahead and they pointed that SAR radar scan over there, and that's what they found. And but what needs to be done now is digging, but Egypt is not letting it happen. The last that I had heard was early, or right after the discovery was announced in March of last year. I knew that Trevor Grassi was trying to get digging permits, and I knew that there were about 3 other countries that were also pursuing the digging permits, but and they were expecting to secure the digging permits before November of last year, because that's when digging season happens in Egypt, because it's just too hot prior to November. And but Egypt has basically just turned their back to them, and they're still in this process of trying to secure the digging permits. And the one thing that has been suggested is by Graham Hancock, has suggested that maybe they should try to use the SAR radar scan over what's that place in Turkey? It's an area in Junku in Turkey that has like these underground structures that have been found. These mysterious underground structures that could hold up to like 20,000 people. And what was suggested is maybe try the SAR radar scan over that area, because they already know what's underground, and then you want to see if the SAR radar scan returns, that information that's already known, and to further basically prove, that it works. But
that makes sense.
but it's it's pretty fascinating. The thing is these SAR radar scans are not cheap. I kind of did a little bit of searching, and what's the cost, and I found that it costs at least $100,000 per scan, and so and they've done a scan with at least 5 different satellites, so that's about $500,000. So they're putting their money where their mouth is, and they did that, and they completed the evaluation process. It's.
Do they have to get something on the ground in order to be able to take those satellite images, or
No, it's done directly from the satellites from outer space. The radar is just shot from the satellite, and then it just it sends the vibrations down, and the vibrations are able to penetrate deeper than they previously thought the technology could, and then it just returns the readings, and it returns the readings in a 3D model for them to see, so they can actually see the shapes of everything, and that's how they are. They kind of, like with this picture, they kind of cleaned it up, from the actual radar, and put it in a way that we could better see and understand what's been found. But yeah, it's amazing. I mean, this to me it's the biggest discovery of our lifetimes. And it's like I don't really want to call it a discovery. I think it's a rediscovery, and but the way that these scientists are being treated by Egypt and basically the world is just unbelievable for something of this magnitude, because these objects make the four structures, the three pyramids and the Sphinx, are now the largest known structures on planet Earth. There's nothing even close. These four objects, with what you see above ground and what you see below ground, that runs 1.2 miles deep underneath the planet, and into massive structures. They are the largest known structures ever, and it's been said that we can't duplicate this with any of our modern technology.
Yeah.
One thing
And just to
that
put that back in scale for people, because we had the image of somebody actually at the pyramids. Let's pull that back. Okay, here you go. So to get that scale, you see somebody
oh
sitting at the
yeah,
pyramid. I mean, it's
yeah,
basically a man-made mountain.
yes.
Yeah,
Now that's the Great Pyramid. Uh,
yeah,
and this is my favorite picture of the Great Pyramid, because growing up in America, the only thing that we ever see are far away images, right? You always see just the far away images, and we only see the pyramids in cartoons, right? and you never see this perspective. That's the Great Pyramid. Now, the interesting thing about the Great Pyramid, and this is just stuff above ground, um, that's 2,300,000 giant limestone and granite blocks that weigh on average of 2.5 tons each. That's the average weight. Now, the Great Pyramid alone has 43 massive granite. Uh, uh, Actually, there are columns on the inside of it. Each one of those 43 columns weigh 50 through 70 tons each. Now, all the granite that's on the Great Pyramid has been found to have been moved from 500 miles away from the city of Aswan, from the quarry in Aswan. Now, we are told to believe that the Great Pyramid was built, around 250, 2,500 BC. Now, here's the thing, and they tell us that it was built in 20 years. Now, if you do simple math, uh, the simple math, if you put that information and numbers together, in order to build this Great Pyramid that has 2,300,000 massive giant blocks in 20 years, you would have to lay down 13 massive blocks per hour, 24 hours a day, for 20 years straight, nonstop. Now, this is in a climate in Egypt where it's over 100 degrees for most of the year. So, and the granite blocks are being moved from 500 miles away. Now, is that physically possible by human beings? I personally, I don't believe it at all. I believe that's a lie. And um, and what we have is on the Great Pyramid, there's been an ancient silt line has been discovered along the bottom. This ancient silt line has been found to have seashells and marine fossils in it, and an ancient a saltwater erosion has been discovered on the Great Pyramid, basically proving that it's around 20. We're actually proving that it's at the least 12,000 years old and was once covered in seawater. Now, this picture, this is of the Khafre pyramid. It's the second largest. Now, you can see the scientists have discovered seawater erosion. And you see that right underneath, like you see the top that seems to be more intact than the areas below. The areas below, that damage was caused by seawater, basically the wave action, waves kind of seawater kind of eroding the rocks, but smashing against the pyramid. That's how high the seawater was on that pyramid at one point. And also with the Khafre pyramid, it also has an ancient silt line at the bottom, in which they also found seashells and also found marine fossils. It proves this picture that you're looking at is the proof that it was once covered in seawater. And the Khafre pyramid, much like the Great Pyramid, it has an estimated 2,300,000 blocks, and all the blocks are of limestone and granite, and much like the Great Pyramid, it also has a bunch of massive granite columns on the inside. The Great Pyramid has 43 that are known, but the number hasn't been, for some reason, it hasn't been figured out how many the Khafre one has. But the granite have an average weight of between 50 to 70 tons each, and that same granite was also found to be moved from 500 miles away in Aswan. Now, the interesting thing about this Khafre pyramid, just like the Great Pyramid, we're told to believe it was also built in 20 years. And if you do the math, just like the Great Pyramid, you would have to build 13 2.5 ton blocks per hour for 24 hours a day for 20 years straight, non-stop in desert heat climate that's over 100 degrees most of the year, which that's impossible. I mean, I feel that's physically impossible by humans. And the one interesting thing that I'm going to add is, like, when it comes to the granite, there are no known tools ever found used by the ancient Egyptians that can work on granite. You only find copper tools. Granite is a 6 to 7 on the MOH scale, which is the measurement of hardness scale. Copper is a 3. Copper can't work on granite, and the only thing that you find in ancient Egypt during the time that these were said to have been built are copper tools. And also, there are no methods ever found on how the Egyptians moved 70-ton granite blocks from 500 miles away all the way up here, and then, and built the pyramid. And I mean, it's, to me, it's almost like, the math and the science just kind of answers that question. Now, when it comes to the Sphinx, we don't have any pictures of the Sphinx, but the Sphinx itself, it's made up of 16,000 blocks. But check this out. The Sphinx, the average weight of those blocks are 110 tons to 200 tons each of those 16,000 blocks that make up the Sphinx. Now, the 16,000 blocks of the Sphinx are made of a limestone. So in theory, it's possible that, because limestone is only a 3 on the measurement of hardness scale. So, the Egyptians' copper tools would work on limestone, but there's no methods of how they move those. That's 200 tons. Now, the Sphinx also has granite, but it has it along the base of the Sphinx. Now, these granite blocks are 70 tons each. And I wasn't able to locate or find exactly how many granite blocks make up the Sphinx, but I know it's at the base. It's like at the base of it. And also there's also a structure that's near the Sphinx that also has the granite blocks. And those granite blocks, just like the Khafre and the Great Pyramid, those granite blocks were found to have been moved from Aswan, from 500 miles away. So, but we don't have any methods. How do they move these blocks? I mean, there's no tools, no known tools ever found. And I mean, it's pretty fascinating to me. And and also the Sphinx has water erosion evidence that has been found that also proves that the Sphinx is at least 12,000 years old. And it is a mystery. It is incredibly fascinating. And but to me, the math and the science doesn't add up to when we're told that these were supposedly built. The science is in a displayable and almost like an unavoidable way that these structures, all 4 of them, are at least 12,000 years old. And there's also the picture of the sea urchin fossil that you can show, and and
pulling that up, right now.
I think one is a sea urchin fossil that this right here, what everyone is looking at right now, these this right here is a smoking gun. I mean, it's 100% the smoking gun that the pyramids and the Sphinx were once covered in seawater. That is a sea urchin fossil. This fossil was found sitting on the Mancure pyramid, about 2 levels up, and it's sitting in an upright position. The scientists have determined that this fossil lived for 15 years when it was alive, and we all know where the sea urchins live. They live in the sea. So, I mean, that right there is just, I mean, I do not understand how on earth this is being ignored. This is literally being ignored by the world. The way this sea urchin fossil was discovered, it was the Gigao research team?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were actually looking for water erosion, right? and they were looking for at water erosion evidence, and the researcher, he actually tripped over it. He was looking at this picture right here. He was actually looking at that block, and he tripped over that sea urchin fossil, and then he kind of, whoa, that's a sea urchin. This picture right here is it's the 100% smoking gun that we are being lied to about our true ancient past.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, at least should be the grounds for doing more research.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
at the very
Oh my
least.
God. Yeah, and in Egypt, and this was actually discovered. I believe it was actually in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
It was discovered in 2012. It didn't make any kind of mainstream media news. Nothing. I mean, and Egypt is just like what they're doing with the SAR radar scans. They killed it. Now, the area around the sea urchin fossil that you're looking at on the ground, that's lagoon settlement, and that's basically what happened is once the seawater kind of receded, that that lagoon settlement cemented itself, and that's why I mean it's just 100% a smoking gun and proof. Now, if you can go back to that picture that shows that temple block with the sea urchin fossil. Now, that was once a block, but the reason why you're seeing that that weird disfigurement, like it looks completely dilapidated, right? Um, the reason why is because that's the result of seawater wave action, erosion. Because as the seawater dropped, the waves were hitting that exposed temple block. That once was a temple block that was in the same shape as any of the other blocks on the Mancure pyramid.
Hmm.
And you kind of got right there. This picture right here is just a complete scientific smoking gun that the pyramids were definitely covered in seawater. And one interesting thing about the Mancure pyramid is that it's 1/10 the size of the Great Pyramid and the Khafre pyramid. It's much smaller. It's 1/10 the size. It has approximately 230,000 blocks that make it up, and each one of the blocks are made of limestone and granite, just like the Great Pyramid, just like the Khafre, and just like the Sphinx. And the 2.5 tons average. But the interesting thing about that pyramid is that it has the granite blocks have only been found to be as heavy as 30 tons. And but still, those granite blocks have also been found to have been moved from Aswan, which is 500 miles away, to this pyramid. And so the question remains is, we have this pyramid, Mancure, that has basically the same blocks makeup of the Khafre and the Great Pyramid and the Sphinx, and we have a sea urchin fossil and a block that has seawater erosion. What once was a temple block that had seawater erosion, and it just, I mean, it's the 100% smoking gun.
I agree with you on that, definitely. And I would say, one question that we would have to ask is why is Egypt going along with what I would say is the common narrative for history, where we're given this, as I was saying earlier, this boring, unremarkable version of history. Is Egypt going along with it, especially in light of the fact that they have wisdom keepers in Egypt?
Yeah.
One of the last great ones that I know of is Al Hakim El Awiyani. I believe he's passed this mantle on to his son, maybe his son and eldest daughter. But yeah, he's a wisdom keeper. So he kept the history for Egypt and for the entire world, and actually would say the same thing that you're saying, where he's saying like that whole area in the Nile Valley region, especially like Giza, would have been underwater. The Sahara would have been underwater, right? And they have
Hmm.
this is a history that I believe it, but if you believe the story that they're telling you, they're keeping the history for humanity as a whole, and they
Yeah.
pass it down orally. So this is the story, that would be, you could say, it's indigenous to Egypt. So why would they be overlooking that and then going
Yeah.
along with this narrative that we're given, that everything started in the last couple of thousand years and we went through the Stone
Yeah.
Age? You know,
Yeah.
why are they going
I,
along with
I
you
do
know?
have my own theory. Um, like I said before, Egypt makes $18 billion in pyramid tourism alone. I mean, if they simply just displayed this area and just had people tour and go see it, it would skyrocket. I mean, even more money than what they had before.
Yeah,
My theory, um, and this is based on my info collecting. What I do is I collect the information and then I try to connect the dots with it. Like with this information, the SAR radar scans and this, you know, evidence of seawater cover. Um, I believe they're trying to hide the truth because if if this information is accepted and embraced and pushed out, it changes human history. It changes human history in an unavoidable way. Um, for one, I'm going to say, and I know a lot of people ain't gonna like hearing this, but the modern religions do not have an explanation for it. That's I think that's first and foremost because they don't have an explanation for it. It doesn't fit into the narrative of any one of the modern religious beliefs. It just doesn't. I mean, that's scientific evidence that proves this pyramid is at least 12,000 years old and was covered in seawater. Now, my theory, because what I have found in my info collecting so far, is that this information, there's only one source that I've found that explains these structures, and that's in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. Um, Thoth was I mean, he was basically said to be a giant space traveling alien, an Anunnaki slash Atlantean. He left writings in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth that are said to be 36,000 years old. Now, in these writings, he he states that he is the builder of the Great Pyramid. He not only states that in these writings, but he says that he built he left us a spaceship underneath the Sphinx to be used in. He mentions that in the future we're going to have some type of invaders, and he left messages saying to access the key that he left in the pyramids, and 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 we will be able to use his spaceship. This is what the writings say. I didn't invent it, um, but it's the only explanation. And the thing is, that information in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth have been passed on from generations to generations with zero confirmation of any massive structures or anything underneath the Sphinx or the pyramid. And then suddenly in 2025, SAW radar shows what Thoth said he supposedly built underneath the Giza plateau. I mean, that's the only explanation. Now, my process isn't just simply just reading Thoth's words. What I did is like, okay, Thoth is said to be a giant space traveling alien, right? Supposedly, and uh, the ancient Sumerians claim that that there was a race of giant space traveling aliens that came here, and they gave us a specific time that they supposedly came here. Now, the ancient Sumerians are the creators of the concept of time that we use today. So every watch, every clock on your phone, over what is it, 8 billion people now across the planet still use the same concept of time that they created. Now, the ancient Sumerians claim that they were taught that how to use the concept of time by these giants called the Anunnaki. Now, the interesting thing, so what I try to do is I try to fish around, okay, what kind of evidence can I collect to maybe prove that maybe what they're saying is true? And I found my method is in the time frames, because the ancient Sumerians not only told us all this, what seems to be like fantastic information, but they left us specific time frames. They gave us like a ancient Sumerians kings list, which showed the duration of time that supposedly these giant aliens ruled. They gave us a very detailed like time frames, and they said in the tablets, which are the oldest known writings ever found in human history, they claim that an Anunnaki named Enki, who is the father of Thoth, they claim that he created humans, and they gave us a time frame. They said 200,000 years ago. They actually put this in stone tablets 6,000 years ago, that we were created by Enki. And so I'm like, see, now that kind of, it caught my attention, because, what does modern science say? Modern science says that modern humans first appeared 200,000 years ago. Now, the interesting thing about that is that it does match when the ancient Sumerians claim that we were, created by Enki. But the scientists say that the reason why modern humans appeared is due to a sudden mutation to chromosome number 2. For some reason, that chromosome fused, and it's the reason why we have 23 chromosomes, and like primates, which are all. And according to the scientists, this mutation should have taken 2 million years through like a natural evolution process to have happened, but it suddenly happened 200,000 years ago for some reason. They can't explain how or why. Matching the words of the writings found in human history, they gave us a time frame of when they said we were created, and then the science says, yep, we first appeared 200,000 years ago. They both match. I mean, it's almost like it's like an unavoidable coincidence. I mean, what are the odds of that? And so my theory, I believe the Anunnaki, and I believe Thoth built these, just like was said to be the son of Enki, and how to, connect all the displayable evidence, or where the things match like that's the point when I display it. Think what the ancient Sumerians left for us, and in particular, uh, you know, Anunnaki. I mean, it's the oldest known, and the way that you displayable evidence is to focus on the, and to go a bit deeper, the ancient Sumerians, what we call SARs. One SAR is 3,600. According to the ancient Sumerians, one SAR represents one trip around our sun for the planet that the Anunnaki they called Nibiru. Now this planet, 600 years, and so that's what they told us. Like all the time frames that they laid left for us. Around that, they actually developed the current time system that we use today, and they themselves tell us that out of mathematics, by the ancient Sumerians themselves. When I first started learning about this information, I was just really shocked. For one, I'm like, well, how on earth is it that these are the oldest known writings found in human history, and we're not even close to. Now, one big connection that I'm trying, the Dogon tribe of Earth, there's similarities between that the Dogon tribe uses to the original ancient Egyptians. Now, oh my God, I mean, it's like so much knowledge. I've tried like hunting down like DNA testing just to see if DNA, if there's ever been any DNA testing in the Dogon tribe to find out if they are indigenous or like many similarities. I encourage people to look into the Dogon tribe, look up information, look up as much information as you can, and then look up as much information as you can about the most ancient Egyptian connections. And I mean, it's just it's pretty fascinating.
But, definitely it is. I would say one thing about the Dogon, without knowing their DNA lineage, with several of the tribes, the different people from places, regions like Mali, different regions throughout Africa, whether you're talking about Ghana or Nigeria, several of these people actually, whether the common person knows this or not, from Nigeria, they're historians, they're tribal wisdom keepers. They trace themselves traveling through from North Africa to the regions where they're at now, right? So they were in Mauritania, they were in Morocco, they were even in Egypt, and they traveled to where they're at in present day. So that may have something to do, with the Dogon maybe having, origins in the Nile Valley, and it's amazing, like with all of this detailed information that these ancient cultures kept, giving you details about where they're from, where they lived, just all of this understanding. And I guess a modern historian would just say, "Oh, that was just mythology. They weren't being literal," but they're putting so much detail into it. And then,
Yes,
Right,
like
they
right,
did.
you're
right.
saying, I
Yes.
mean, like when you look in, you're actually looking at what they carved into stone, in
Right.
Mesopotamia, right? Some people joke online about these mystery handbags that they were all carrying with
Yes,
various
Yes.
yes.
religions. But they're doing this also in ancient America. You're finding this in the temples, in the pyramids. Um, so there was an ancient global civilization. This was found in ancient Turkey, right? These people carrying this item, and it was so important that they had to depict it, like carve that into stone. Make sure that I'm carrying this. And this was done all over the world. So there's the ancient that we have things that could show that there was maybe an ancient worldwide civilization. Even there's artifacts and things that have been shown in different parts of the world that show that there was a worldwide language, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's amazing, it's incredible. It's not being talked about, discussed. It's being hidden for us to pull it out. It's on us. We have to make it come. So the mysteries, just like what you were speaking about with Toth or Thoth, you know, the mystery that we must figure out. We have to pull it out. It's on us. So all of the deception and things that are being carried out to keep us from finding out what's really going on, it's just being set out here as a challenge for us to pull out the greatness that's within us.
Yes,
Yes, true.
yes.
I truly
Yes,
believe it's all here just as a challenge for us to overcome. Just with even with speaking about the our own DNA, right? The 12 strands or two strands, pardon, two strands of DNA that we have, you know. But then there's like 10 other strands in there that are there, but they're like not. I guess you could say they're kind of like dormant, but
dormant.
they're there. They exist within us. So
Right,
we,
right.
even within ourselves, there's something greater within us that we have to unfold, that we have to unlock. And so I think all of this is interconnected. So nothing is happening just by chance. Even with these
Mm-hmm.
things, I like that you say they're not discoveries, things that are being uncovered or rediscovered. I
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
think it's all happening now for a reason, for a purpose. We're here at this point in time speaking about this openly. We don't have to talk about it in the basement, right? We can speak openly. We're
That's
not in
right.
fear of our lives. It's because it's time. It's time.
Yeah.
And
Great
we're here
information. We
right now.
agree. We agree. Yes.
And so I'm definitely thankful that we're connected on Facebook. That
Yeah.
we're linked up now. You both are welcome to come on here anytime that you want to share any information. I'm thankful for everything that you shared here. I'm sure our viewers are too. Everyone, please click like and share. Make sure to help spread this information out. Go to the video description and go and subscribe to the Ancient Portals YouTube channel and also follow them on Facebook. Check out the links on there. Go to the Etsy page, support. Get go there. Make sure you support and subscribe, like, follow them on Facebook, and share, spread this information, spread this video far and wide. You see how much is being covered up. We're speaking openly about it, hoping to open minds and spread the dialogue and to keep people thinking outside the box and also questioning the common narrative. I think we have to do that. We have to change the way history is being taught in the schools. No one's going to do it if we don't do it, if we don't force the issue and make that change happen. So definitely, it's just been a pleasure, a breath of fresh air having you both on there. Um, Not trying to take up a whole bunch of your time, so I just want to put one last question out there just to say, there's anything in particular that you would like to say in closing to make sure that you share with everyone that's watching, please feel free. The floor is yours.
Um, Really, just one message. Um, be open to new information. Um, Part of my process is just to simply collect the information. What I try to do is I try to surround myself with as many scientists, researchers, content sharers, if you would, as possible. I'm looking for people to join my group, the Ancient Portals official group on Facebook. I actually have several scientists that are known, and I am looking for. I'm hunting them down. Even up and coming scientists, up and coming researchers, because a part of my process is to collect as much information as possible, scientific, words of the ancient, and I'm trying to connect the dots with it. And my info collecting is not limited to just Egypt or just one area. I have multiple topics open from everywhere across the world, and I'm just simply trying to gather all this information. So be open, seek it. You have the power in the palm of your hand now. You know, you're only limited to ask. Creativity. Use your imagination and ask questions. AI will answer it. It might give you a lie sometimes, but it will answer it, or ask the question in different ways, and you'll begin to uncover a lot of information. We have the power in the palm of our hands now. Use it. That's me. That's it.
I'll bounce off of that and just say that in similarity, studying something doesn't mean worshiping something, and that you can study outside of your culture and still worship who you worship. It's very good to be more culturally aware outside of your culture and get all the knowledge that you can get.
All right, great. Want to thank you both for coming on here once again, and just to leave the people with this thought. Since we were talking mainly about the Giza Plateau, the pyramids, they're not just monuments of the past. I mean, they were literally built to withstand potential earth changes. They have been underwater at one point in time. So these were created to be messages to the future as well for us here in the present, in the time that we're in now. So I would just ask everybody to keep your mind open, keep searching, keep looking. Also, look within, do the work on yourself to pull out something that's greater within you. And I just want to thank you both for coming on again as we close this out.
Thank you for having us. Thank
Yes,
you for this
indeed.
great platform. We enjoyed it. We have to hook up more.
Great,
Yes.
thanks. Yeah, so it's been awesome having you on here. And as we close out, everybody hit like and share this video. And we're out of here. Peace, everybody.
All right.
All right.
Ancient Portals out.
All right.
Unlock the Keys, a powerful guide to Moorish identity, divine law, and self-mastery. Praised by sheiks and scholars alike, and Moors across the nation are calling it a must-read. Grab your signed copy now at morrisonamerica.com for just $23. Or get the paperback on Amazon, also $23. Prefer digital? The Kindle version is only $3.99.
Don't let your history start at slavery. Join with Moorish Science Temple, a lawfully chartered Islamic organization, and proclaim your nationality while helping us uplift fallen humanity. Founded by American prophet Noble Drew Ali and consistently promoted plans for the betterment of humankind. We are located in Columbus, Ohio. Visit our website www.moorishamericans.com and follow us on social media. We hold live meetings on Zoom every Friday and Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Give us a call at 614-407-4394 if you would like to join or send donations to help us uplift fallen humanity.
Highest quality handmade fezzes. Crafted fez with the finest wool, complete with tassel and leather sweatband. Wear the national headdress of Moorish Americans with pride and respect. 3XL size fez is a comfortable fit for brothers with dreadlocks. Shipping worldwide. Go to moorishfez.com to order.
CareMore is a non-profit organization focused on providing goods and services to families and individuals in our underfunded communities in Central Ohio. We have created an online presence to reach members of our Central Ohio communities, as well as local events and meetings to give away supplies and donations throughout the city all year long. Visit our website to learn more and to send a donation.
Every day, billions of searches are conducted online, therefore it is critical that your company stands out to the small percentage of clients who are essential to your business. Our team of local digital marketing consultants and SEO experts is eager to help your company achieve its goals through a consultative approach, top Google rankings, and collaboration with industry experts. Here at Adept Marketing Solutions, we stand for integrity, dedication, ingenuity, and results. We know how to navigate the ever-changing digital landscape and what brands must do to succeed. Visit our website to see what we can do to help you reach your goals. Fez Caps blends Moorish style with modern streetwear hats. The cutting-edge design features Moorish symbols with a silk tassel on the dome of the cap. More than just a fashion statement, Fez Caps represents something powerful and ancient within you. Go to fezcaps.com to order your Fez Cap now.